One of the things that the Lands Awaken update brought to the game was a new style of solo ganking where you pretty much have to catch people off of their mounts using things like invisibility potions. One of the features of this is that you no longer really need to use specific gank weapons that can dismount mounted opponents and things like that. Instead, any DPS weapon and a purge with a fiend cowl or something like that is enough to gank a gatherer. So I went out and tested some pretty uncommon weapons for solo ganking and solo PvP in the open world. In this video, I'm going to be using the Deathgivers, the one-shot crossbow, and the Dagger Pair. So I started off with Deathgivers and it was going pretty well. One of the things I like to do as to not waste invisibility potions is if there's like a node in a tier 5 zone, here you can see it's a tier 5 stone node, and I don't think that it's very likely there's going to be a person there. Instead of using an invisibility potion, I'll just rely on my assassin jacket to get me just close enough to use something like a shadow edge there to tag the gatherer before they can mount up, which is usually pretty reliable, and then you still have the purge for the boots afterwards. This guy was AFK, so it didn't even matter. On this case, on the other hand, I knew there was a gatherer down to my southeast. As you can see, I saw him here, so then instead I used an invisibility potion so I could get right on top of him instead of having to risk him seeing me and getting out of range of my shadow edge just in time. One thing to note if you're running a burst weapon like Deathgivers is that the invisibility potion gives you minus damage for 1 second longer than it keeps you in stealth, so you don't want to exit your stealth and use your big burst. You want to wait 1 second additionally and then use your E. So you can see I auto-attacked him and then I used my E. This also shows the strength of soldier boots for ganking right now, as you can chase on gatherers even if you miss your purge and purge something like a bunny, which I definitely didn't do there. You can still sometimes run people down with your soldier boots, especially if they get hit by mobs and stuff running them to mount up, which is pretty valuable. Sometimes when you're ganking, you're not really paying attention and you'll like run into a gatherer and get on their screen before you realize it. And in these situations, I usually just like to walk past them and pretend I don't even care about them. And if the gatherer is a little bit inexperienced and doesn't respect you enough, they'll just keep gathering there, which will allow you to set up and then kill them. You can see, especially against opponents that are using like oxes and things, all you really need is a purge and an invisibility potion to kill them. Wouldn't even matter what weapon I had here, he couldn't even move after I had hit him out of his mount. Now, I wasn't finding as many people as I would have liked around the portal zone, so I decided to go deeper into the black zone around the inner ring and look for some high value like tier 8 gatherer targets, and I got myself into I think the biggest clown fiesta that I've ever encountered in Albion. So this clip started a little bit late on the recording, but just some context here, I just dismounted this gatherer and he just popped his stealth on his chest, so I popped my soldier boots to be able to catch him as soon as I saw him out of stealth. Now, just quick note, you can't even purge these boots, you have to use something like a stun to interrupt them, which I do manage to get at the end there, but unfortunately it's right next to a dungeon. You can see this other guy hanging around, which is sort of concerning for me, but I just followed this guy into the dungeon, you know, no problem. As long as he doesn't load too much faster than me and the other guys don't get involved, this is a pretty easy kill. However, of course, that's not how things were to play out. You can see a tank and a bear paw zone into the dungeon there at the very end, and as soon as we zone out, we're swarmed by 2 more tanks, so I know that there's just a Zerg here. So now I'm going to escape mode. You can see the gatherer just goes back towards the dungeon. Mind you, he's like a tier 8 gatherer, he's a froster, he's definitely got more expensive gear than me, but they completely ignore him and just go for me instead. And just to note, he actually escapes there. They don't even go into the dungeon to kill him while I get Zerged. But fortunately, I make a nice little juke here, and I also escape by getting enough distance between me and them to mount up. However, I just happened to run right into one of the gathering nodes with a dismounted player who was gathering the node, who just came over and casually killed me really quickly. And then he gets zerged down by the rest of the Zerg and dies as well. Honestly, just a hilariously unfortunate situation that I got myself into there. I was laughing at the death. It was pretty funny. I went out on Deathgivers again with a slightly different build that was a little bit better for fighting opponents, but I just could not find anybody for the life of me. That being said, I did find some insanely lucky money makers while I was out there. I got this Limhurst cape drop from a mob that I killed. I found a purple Avalonian drone in a tier 8 zone that got me over 500k. I got this entire 8-1 marble node to myself, which net me another 550k. Honestly, the new open world black zone is just insane for making fame and money if you're not getting ganked and bugged by other players, which I kind of wanted to be bugged and ganked, but I just couldn't find anyone, so I just made a bunch of money instead, I guess. After getting a couple more kills with Deathgivers in the open world on some people farming some open world mobs, it would have been 3 people if Shadow Edge wasn't just the weirdest ability in the game. Look at, okay, if SBI is watching this, please explain this to me. He's standing still gathering. I've clicked on him so you can see his hitbox, and if I pause here, you can see that the range indicator for the Shadow Edge very clearly goes through his body. If he doesn't move and the range of the ability is the same as the indicator, then it should 100% hit him, right? Somehow it misses. Even this little dagger thing that throws out definitely intersects with his body there, but oh well. So I was trying to figure out what weapon I wanted to try out next, and I was thinking, what if you just like completely one-shot a gatherer out of stealth before they can even react? So they don't even get to use all their fancy abilities to run away. You don't need a purge, you just casually one-shot them as soon as you exit stealth. So I picked up the one-shot crossbow, spec'd it up a bit, and went into the red zone to try it out. Now, unfortunately, even though it was a new weapon and a new day, I still got the Deathgivers treatment where I just could not find somebody killing open world mobs or gathering that wasn't already half dead. That being said, I still like one-shotting people who are half health. It's still pretty satisfying, but I still wanted to find someone with full health to see if I could at least get close to one-shotting them with this build. And when I finally got the opportunity, I completely messed up and forgot to use my Dagger hood. Not to be discouraged, I tried again the next day and had some success. As you can see, this first opportunity got me so unbelievably close to practically one-shotting this gatherer. The 1500 damage knife left him at 95 HP. The second attempt was against this fisher who was hard flagged for some reason, and he reacted much faster, so I can't see how much damage that this snipe did, but it left him at around 200 HP, and I was still able to finish him off with the soldier boots afterwards. Lastly, we had this Limhurst fisher, and things happened pretty similarly to the other 2 times. Works like a charm getting on top of them and getting the combo off, but just not quite enough damage. 1767 on the snipe there, leaving him at 140 health. This guy died to mobs, and then I couldn't go and finish him off because of all the other things around, but still a successful attempt in my opinion. So I never really got to one-shot someone exactly, I called it there. I might revisit this later with like a full suicidal build and try to actually one-shot someone from full HP. You could change that, like the boots are a great example. I could go Hellion shoes for more damage, or even Royal sandals. Both of those would leave me a lot more susceptible to dying, but they would give me more damage, and probably I would have one-shotted at least 2 of those guys if I had had those damaged shoes. So if you want to see me attempt this again with a fully suicidal one-shot build, let me know in the comments and I might revisit it. Also, another funny thing that randomly happened while I was doing the one-shot crossbow build was I was actually trying to deflag here, and this Deathgivers guy that was stalking me for a while decided to dismount to catch me before I deflagged, which is not a good idea next to one-shot crossbow, so I just quickly killed him. Lastly, another weapon that I wanted to try in the Black Zone, Deep Black Zone open world was the Dagger Pair, so I went back to the inner ring and looked to gank and fight some people. And that's where I found Mr. Boss Paps over here who wanted to be in the video, so I told him, let me kill you and you can be in the video, so he let me kill him. Congratulations, Mr. Boss Paps, you're famous. Next, I found this gatherer gathering a stone node. I went for the assassin jacket invid because I didn't expect there to be anybody there, but found him. Note his name, by the way, Aurelia Spell. I dismounted with the Dagger Pair E, which is actually surprising considering it's a moose, but he was able to just get away with the minor work boots. I wasn't able to quite him with the Shadow Edge at the end there. So he gets away, but not for long. The next zone over is a tier 8 zone, and there is a ore node, so I head over there. And this time I used an invisibility potion. Since it's a tier 8 zone, there's pretty much always a gatherer on these special nodes like this, and look who it is. Same guy, this time he doesn't get to use his mount up before I'm on top of them because of the invis potion, and I get the instant purge on his shoes. Now unfortunately for me, I forgot to eat my beef stews. I had pies on before this, so the second E just barely doesn't kill him. Neither does the Shadow Edge into the auto attack with the Thetford Cape. Also, one hit away from the bleed passive at the end here, but he just manages to get the Invis Potion off before he dies. I don't think I'm going to be able to catch him after the Invis Potion, so I throw out the Shadow Edge to try to catch him in the Invis Potion, but I don't hit it, and it ends up coming back to bite me in the ass because I would have actually been able to catch him and kill him with this sprinty chest and mount up here. If I had my Shadow Edge, I totally could have caught him and killed him. So I definitely made some mistakes there and let him live, but at least I got to finish off the node he was going for, and here's the coolest part about it as well. Now, I still wanted blood, so I kept searching, and I found this stone node in another tier 8 zone, and now I knew this was going to be a super dangerous gank because I saw a death earlier in this map around there, and I was seeing a couple people from the same alliance roaming around, but I wanted blood, so I went to it anyways, knowing that it was probably going to get me killed, and I was right, but I still managed to kill this gatherer. It's a nice gank, definitely a good proof of concept for the Dagger Pair. If you run high enough IP, you can pretty much 2-shot or 2E any gatherers with the Dagger Pair, so I might go out with them again. They're pretty fun to use, and they're also pretty good in fights, so I was still happy about this. Anyways, that's all the clips that I have for you in this video. Make sure to let me know in the comments what weapons you want me to see and test in the open world next, as I love testing out different weapons in solo ganking, so let me know, and I will see you in the next episode.